Hello, everybody. Terrence, Popp here with another episode of... I've been retired now for a little over 5 years. I am shocked when I speak to other men, especially the younger men in their early 20s, late teens, maybe up into their, I would say late 20s, how these men think
like chicks.
It's really starting to affect our civilization here. And this is basically a direct bash on you dudes out there who are drinking the soy and, falling into the traps of, being feminized in today's day and age. Because I'm going to show you here on this board, men used to think a completely different way than how they think today.
Do you like stories about serial killers? What about psychics? How about a psychic serial killer with a conscience wiping out the filth of society?
Yeah!
If you thought Dexter was a great show that went soft in its final seasons, these are the books for you. Introducing The Jericho Files, written by an old infantry grunt who has seen evil firsthand and digested it into grade A gore porn with 5-star reviews all around. Click on the link tree in the Meat Gazer box and buy your copies today on Amazon. You filthy, dirty riggers.
On the board here, you see the list I have. All right, now, when a man is presented with a problem, I'm talking a man who, this is the way we used to think. The first thing they do is, I have to solve this problem. And they go through this mental gymnastics to figure out if it's viable to do themselves, if they have to hire somebody, or they can ignore it down, for a certain amount of time before it has to be addressed. Okay. Now, first thing, whenever a man is presented with a problem, he automatically, in his mind, should think, what are my assets to deal with this problem? Most men from 18 to 30 spend a lot of time building up their assets. I'm talking money, physical property, tools, hell, even the skills needed. Listen, a general contractor skill, that's going to require anywhere from 2 to 6 years on the job to get that experience. You can speed it up a little bit if you go to some night school at a community college for that specific subject, but it is what it is. All right, next, he will consider his liabilities. Do I have a bad back? Do I have arthritis? Do I have any health issues that will keep me from going up there? Am I afraid of heights? Is there something that is holding me back from being able to accomplish what needs to be done? On the flip side, when it comes to liabilities, a lot of men, especially younger men, don't really understand how this works. And that's where you get a lot of these young guys who brag and boast, and they're going to do, I'll do this and I'll do that. They don't have a fucking clue. All right? Because they have not addressed their own liabilities while being truthful to themselves. You'd be surprised how many young men out there lie to themselves about this. Why they do it is probably to inflate their ego, pride, I don't know. But you have to be honest what you can and cannot do. This is how people get killed. They don't take responsibility. They don't acknowledge their liabilities. And quite literally, they set their own goddamn death traps. Next, they will consider the time needed. All right, you got a problem. You go, what assets do I have? What are my liabilities? How much time is this going to take? Is it going to take me 2 days? Am I going to have to take 2 days off work to solve this problem? Say I work, I work a $30 an hour job, 2 days. Roughly, if you're working 1 or 2 hours of overtime, that's like $600. All right? Now, is the problem going to require more than $600 or less? Because this needs to actually be addressed. All right. Most guys out there that literally, I don't understand this. Maybe it's too much Xbox. Well, a lot of them, they look at these problems and they have no idea how long it will take. I've heard guys like, it's going to take weeks. What? No. You can knock that shit out in 2 days. Some problems can be handled that way, and we'll have an example at the end. All right, next you have your benefit/reward. I have a problem. If I solve this problem, how do I benefit? What is my reward? All right, now, in the grand scheme of things, we are all evil, hairless monkeys. Meaning that majority of people are motivated because it benefits them or they get rewarded for such activity. Very few men out there do stuff selflessly. Not really going to go into a lot of the details on that regard because that's really a small minority of individuals. Next, costs. Material costs. What is the cost if I fail to solve this problem? What are the repercussions? A lot of men out there, they are literally oblivious to the repercussions of what they do or don't do. And a lot of guys, when they get to a certain age, they get crushed with regret because they didn't take into account costs, failures, and so forth. Next, we have motivation to accomplish. All right, now I'm an exception to this rule. I, for whatever reason, was sent here to this realm with a thing called drive. I can't explain it. Everything I decide I'm going to do, I excel at it because I have this internal motivation/drive. And sometimes if you're on the wrong set of the equation and my drive is to destroy you, you're going to have a bad time. That's just how it is. But most dudes out there, their motivation to accomplish, it's still tied to me, costs, and rewards, and so forth. I'm not really going to preach at you guys and expect you all to change your mindset instantaneously. In my opinion, that's a real tall order. Most men are going to have to stumble along, make mistakes, and realize that the motivation to do is a pretty good tool to have in your tool chest. If you're not a motivated individual like me, that's fine. You can just set up a routine and stick to the routine, and basically you're artificially building motivation to accomplish and strive into your tasks with that. Next, and this is really important, at least in the dudes that used to think correctly. And if you look back on history, it all falls down to this. Men historically do what they have to do. Monumental tasks fall before men. Sometimes they're incredibly dangerous. I'm talking mentally, physically, spiritually, but it has to be done. Men used to get on their feet, roll up their sleeves. Okay, let's get this done. Historic example, fire brigade, posses, being deputized, going to war. I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there who would rather, stayed in the city, worked at the shops, got to eat 3 meals a day, go home, hang out. But no, they get deputized. They're on a horse, riding for days, weeks, maybe even months, chasing bad guys to go assist the local sheriff in some bullshit. They didn't want to do that. They had to do it because that is the way it used to work. All right, now today we have the woman thinking. All right, now I put this on the board because there's so many young men out there who are literally operating and living their lives like they're a chick, but they're not. And it literally is pathetic, in my opinion. Their first motivation is happiness. Well, I'm going to give you a universal truth here. The only person who can make you happy is you. And if you are always chasing happiness outside of yourself, your life is going to be one long, punishing, tiring marathon. Yes, you will probably be able to have happiness from time to time. It'll be very short and more than likely unfulfilling. It's not a good way to live your life. Next, emotion. I can't tell you how many young men I've run into. I'm not going to do that. Fuck that. Like, whoa. Like literally, they are clouding all of the steps needed to make decisions to solve problems and benefit themselves simply because they're blocking this with an emotion, hate, anger, love. You can call it whatever you want. But back in the day, men were not emotional because life is vicious. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to tell you a simple fact. For you to exist, many things had to die so you could stay here. That's the way the world works. I didn't design it. Go talk to the man upstairs, which at one point we all will, and it might not go well for some of you, and for me, I already know I'm getting a walkthrough, so it is what it is. All right, fun. Women basically live their lives in this state of what's fun. Let's go to the concert. Let's go see a movie. Let's go out to the bar. Every single day, it's like, what is fun for me? All right, and men are doing the same thing. Stop it. Fun. I mean, everyone likes to have fun, but don't live your life searching continuously for the next fun thing. Will you have fun from time to time? Yes, you will. But that mindset causes you to have a problem with this. That meaning your long-term life goals, whatever, are going to suffer because all you do is chase fun. Case in point, video games. We have a whole generation and a half of young men who quite literally have spent their entire childhood, most of their 20s, behind a game console or computer, playing a game for the quest of fun. Now, I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm just telling you to keep it in moderation. Because in your teens, instead of playing football or, doing some athletics, building up your body, getting healthy, experiencing a little bit of pain so you can grow, they literally sit behind a TV screen. And then one day in their early 30s, they're walking by the mirror and they have the Xbox body, which is a bowling pin, and they're bald as a cue ball with bad knees, hips, ankles, wrists, and they're bad from not using them. Like quite literally, I have met guys in their early 30s who have the bodies of junior, senior citizens, all for this chasing of fun. If that's all you do, you're neglecting other portions of your life. Next, women, they get to do what they want to do. I don't want to do that. It's not fun. I don't want to do that. It's too dangerous. I don't want to do that. It's a waste of time. Because they think somebody's going to come and pick up the slack for them. And historically, men having to do what they have to do compensated for these women wanting to do other things. Those days are coming to an end. My job is to teach you dudes out there to go back to the old way of thinking. Stop thinking like a bitch. Think like a man. And I can guarantee you get back on track and you follow this method of thinking, you will go far in life. Even if it's just for yourself, which I understand completely because our culture and civilization punishes men hand over fist to the point a majority of the homeless are men. the men in prison. I mean, it's just a whole nut roll. So please pay attention to what I'm telling you here, gentlemen. If you find yourself thinking like this, you're going to wind up with your own version of box wine in Catland.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop!
And that's not a good look.